The age of Cronus opened like a dawn made of shining metal, bright but sharp at the edges. The Titans, newly unshackled, filled the cosmos with their triumphant roar, as the sky god Uranus retreated in wounded silence. The old order had fallen. A new sovereign now held the sickle of fate in his hands. Cronus, youngest of the Titans, crowned himself Lord of heaven and earth. His rule began with celebration, thunderous and wild, echoing across the newborn world. Yet, even in that first moment of victory, shadows gathered around him. Power had come through blood. Authority had been seized through defiance. And every victory born in violence carries a thread that leads back toward doom. Cronus had promised his brethren freedom. He had sworn to elevate them, to right the wrongs of their father, and restore harmony between sky and earth. It was a vow spoken with conviction, and for a brief moment the world believed him. The Cyclopes stepped forward first, enormous and radiant with the raw strength of creation. Their single blazing eyes were like living forges, and their hands carried the memory of shaping the very bones of the world. Beside them stood the Hecatonchires, the 100-handed ones, towering beings of impossible power. Each movement of their countless arms stirred winds, carved valleys, and shook mountains. They had suffered longest under Uranus's cruelty. Their release was meant to mark a new justice. But as the dust of the old war settled, Cronus looked upon them not with gratitude, but with dread. Their strength was unrivaled, their loyalty untested. Their presence near his throne felt like the weight of prophecy pressing against his spine. He had seen what children could do to their father. He had done it himself. And now he feared the echo of his own rebellion rising again in another generation. So the new ruler of the cosmos committed his first betrayal. Under the veil of gratitude, he summoned the Cyclopes and the Hecatonchires, promising them honor and reward. He led them through the deep places of the earth, down through caverns where light faltered, into the pit where time twisted and sound fell dead against the walls. And there, in Tartarus, he chained them once more. Their roars shook the foundations of the world, but the bonds of the Titan King held fast. Cronus closed the gates of the abyss with a final command. Silence fell over the pit like a stone tomb. He told the other Titans it was necessity. He claimed that being so powerful must remain contained until the world had fully stabilized. But the truth lingered behind every word. Cronus feared them. He feared what he could not control. The universe shifted into its next era. Some call it the Golden Age, the first age of humanity. It was a time untouched by pain, a time before war, before greed, before death carried its scythe through mortal fields. Humanity sprang from the earth itself, rising from rich soil like living jewels. They were creatures of peace, free of suffering. They did not age. They walked the world in harmony, guided by a gentleness the later ages could scarcely imagine. When their time came to pass, they did not fade into decay. They slipped away like candles blown out by a soft breeze, their spirits lingering as guardians of the earth they loved. The world beneath Cronus shimmered with possibility, a half-built realm waiting for final touches. Rivers needed courses, mountains needed crowns of ice or fire, and the sky's great dome still hissed with leftover storms from the Titan uprising. Cronus saw all of it as raw inheritance. But with each passing moment, he felt more certain that he wasn't simply ruling the cosmos, he was perfecting it. But Gaea watched carefully. She could feel the way his footsteps pressed too hard into the earth, as if even the ground beneath him flinched. Power had a weight, and Cronus carried it like a king who never intended to kneel again. As he tightened his hold on the heavens, Oceanus moved closer. The Titan of the cosmic river carried a presence that felt almost soothing. His voice seemed to ripple, like water touching a shore for the first time. "Brother, you have done what no one thought possible. Our father is gone. The age is new. But power has tides. Even a king must watch how high they rise." Cronus listened, but his eyes were fixed on the horizon, where night and day met in a thin, glowing line. "Tides retreat," he eventually said. "My rule will not." Oceanus did not argue. He only dipped his head in an ancient gesture that could have meant respect or distance. Then he withdrew toward the rim of the world, where his endless river circled creation like a silver belt. Hyperion approached next. Titan of light, he moved with the sharp certainty of a blade. His gaze burned like two tiny dawns. "You cut down the father of time," Hyperion said. "Now you stand as the beginning of every moment forward. Make the world bright. Make it order. Make it something remarkable." This earned the first real smile from Cronus since the uprising. Hyperion always had a talent for turning ambition into flattery, and Cronus enjoyed it far too much. Cronus arrived with a quieter presence. His mind traveled farther than his footsteps. He studied Cronus with the calm focus of someone examining a new constellation. "Strength without thought is only half of a ruler," Cronus said. "Your age will need more than force. It will need intention." Cronus's expression tightened.
The idea that he might be lacking felt like a small insult, even if Cronus meant only guidance. "I intend to rule," Cronus said. "Is there a purpose more direct?" Cronus gently shook his head. "Ruling is simple. Shaping is harder. And the cosmos will remember whichever one you choose." He turned away, leaving Cronus with a faint feeling he couldn't name. Something between irritation and unease. One by one, the Titans offered their loyalty, their gratitude, their dreams for what the new age could be. Rhea stood quietly through all of it, watching her brother, watching her future husband. She saw the swagger in his stance, the hunger coiling behind his eyes. She felt pride for him, but she also felt the shift that Gaea had already sensed. Power was sweet, and Cronus drank deeply. When the others dispersed, Rhea stepped beside him. "You did something impossible," she said. "But impossible things cast long shadows. Are you ready for that?"
Cronus placed a hand on hers. The gesture was gentle, almost tender, but it carried the weight of a king trying to calm a worried subject. "I ended my father," he said. "There is no shadow longer than his. Nothing else will frighten me." Rhea didn't argue, but her silence folded itself into the air between them like a veil. Below the heavens, Gaea continued to shape the world with renewed urgency. She felt the universe holding its breath. She pressed her palms into the soil, and mountains rose like slow-growing teeth. She whispered to volcanic beds, and sparks burst upward, forming islands where nothing had existed the day before. She cooled steaming plains with sudden rivers. Creation surged, wild and beautiful. But the more she shaped, the more she felt a steady tremor beneath the surface. Not the tremor of shifting stone or newborn storms, but the tremor of destiny pushing against the present. She had felt this once before, when Uranus first claimed the sky, before he grew fearful. Fate always pulsed around rulers who believed themselves invulnerable. That night, Cronus climbed a newly formed peak. The stars obeyed his presence, drifting slightly, as if rearranging themselves to flatter their king. He looked across his kingdom and felt a thrill run through him. The cosmos seemed to bow. Gaea rose from the earth behind him, her form composed of soil, roots, and starlight. She did not speak at first. She let Cronus feel her presence, let him understand that she came not as mother, but as something older than motherhood itself. She spoke only when the silence had stretched long enough to matter. "You have won a crown," Gaea said, "but crowns carry prophecy, and yours is already stirring." Cronus turned slowly. His eyes narrowed, not in fear, but in the irritation of someone's triumph had been interrupted. Prophecy belongs to weak rulers who think fate can steer them. I make my own destiny. Gaea's expression did not change. Her voice remained steady.
Your father believed the same thing. He feared you, so he tried to chain the future. Because of that fear, you rose against him, and now you wear his comparison like a shadow. Cronus stiffened. The idea of resembling Uranus felt dangerous, offensive. I am nothing like him. Then listen, Gaea said, because the one who will dethrone you will not rise from the earth. He will rise from your own bloodline. One of your children will do to you what you did to your father. Cronus's heartbeat thud once, slow and heavy. Something cold slid through his chest. A child overthrowing him, his own child. It felt absurd, but also poisonous. A prophecy like this was never small, and Gaea did not lie. Her truths were woven into the bedrock of reality. He drew in a breath. The wind trembled. No child of mine will ever have the chance. Gaea watched the shift in him. The softening he once carried as the leader of the rebellion was hardening into something sharper. His jaw set like stone, his shoulders tightened, his eyes darkened with the kind of resolve that feels too much like fear wearing armor. Cronus, Gaea said softly, you stand on the edge of repeating history. But he could no longer hear her gently offered warning. The prophecy had taken root in the soil of his mind. Every thought began to twist around it. Every imagined future began to warp. He saw children not as legacy, but threats waiting to bloom. He would not be like Uranus. He would not allow a prophecy to grow teeth. He would cut fate off at the root. Gaea watched him from the base of the mountain. She could sense his shift even from far below. The sky seemed to tighten around him, as if bracing for something terrible. A small, uneasy warmth pooled in her stomach. The kind of warmth that doesn't comfort, the kind that warns. High above, Cronus stared into the newborn horizon and made a silent promise, a dark one.
Dethrone him. No child would be allowed that chance. The throne was his, and the cosmos would obey. Even if he had to devour the future itself to preserve his rule. The stars flickered, unsure whether to shine brighter or hide behind the night. The age of Cronus had begun, but beneath its surface, the next rebellion was already breathing. When creation moves forward, destiny always moves with it. And somewhere, in the deep quiet of time yet to come, a spark began to form. A spark that would one day be named Zeus.